Alright guys, I'm back again with another video, and today I wanted to talk about the Atari 7800 Plus. I've had one of these as well as the 2600 Plus sealed in my collection for a while. Didn't bother opening them just because I figured that I wouldn't like it that much, but they went on sale on Amazon for 60 bucks, so for that price I bought one. And I actually opened it up to try it out, and if you guys don't know, I have a huge Atari collection, and I also resell a lot of Atari stuff on eBay, and I get a lot of returns from people saying, oh, this game doesn't work, and I'm on the Atari 2600 Plus, and blah, blah, blah. And I know there's a lot of compatibility issues, but I know a lot of it got fixed with updates, so I kind of wanted to share my experience quickly with the console and what I think of it as someone who's owned the original console and refurbishes them on a daily basis. What do I think about it? First of all, the hardware itself, I think it looks really nice. I think it looks very faithful to the original. It kind of has the European-style faceplate, which is a little odd. But I like the feel of the buttons. They feel more like rubber dome buttons. Are not as clicky as the original. Yeah, it's powered by USB-C, which is very convenient. It does not include a power brick, which is kind of weird, but everyone has a million of those laying around anyway, so it's not a big deal at all. And yeah, I think the actual build quality is pretty good. I think it feels nice. The controller is the European 7800 controller, but a wireless version, and it feels pretty cheap. I've never owned the original. I don't know if the original feels like this, but like the buttons don't feel that great, and the D-pad feels okay. It also has a screw-on little joystick, which is kind of interesting, although I opted to just have it as a D-pad. But one thing I did notice is that the controller added a lot of lag, which we will get into in a minute, which is my main complaint with the console itself. As for compatibility, a lot of accessories did not work from the default firmware, but I did update my firmware, and that made the driving controllers work, as well as the Star Raiders touchpad also works. So that's pretty cool. I've heard a lot of misinformation, like, for some people it doesn't work, some people it does work. I think a lot of people just aren't updating, or they just wouldn't think to update it. Obviously joysticks worked fine. I have an Ed Ladden custom-built Atari controller that works perfectly on it. All the controllers I threw at it worked, and I haven't tried everything. I haven't tried a trackball, and there's a few other things I haven't tried. Basically, I tried a joystick, I tried paddles, I tried driving controllers, and I tried the touchpad, and all of those did work with an asterisk. My main complaint with this console is most of the 2600 library is very reaction time based. You have to be very quick, make quick decisions, like games like Cosmic Arc when you're destroying the asteroids or whatever. You got to be quick. And games like Kaboom especially are very reaction based. And I'm sorry, but on those games, this console is completely worthless. Kaboom, literally, I was scoring in the 400s, which is absolutely terrible. It's before you even get an extra life. And I tried like 5 attempts. I could not do any better than that. So, yeah, and unlike my CRT, I get over 10,000 like pretty much every time I play, unless I'm really not focusing. But yeah, my scores basically were 1/4 of what they should have been at being generous on those like twitchy kind of action games. Another one, Cosmic Arc. I think I have some footage of that. Really hard to dodge the asteroids once they got fast, or to destroy them rather, but yeah, I think this console, it displays really well. Like it looks really nice on your TV, and that's all well and good, but most of the library is kind of unplayable. One thing I will say is the game compatibility is definitely a lot better. I obviously did not use it at launch. Like, I don't think Pitfall 2 worked at launch. That works now. And a lot of things do work. I get tons of returns. Guys sell a lot of different Atari games, like Kool-Aid Man's one that often gets returned, Burger Time, and I don't know why that is. I guess it's just because certain firmwares, or I see a lot of different misinformation. Some people say there's different versions of those games. Some work, some don't. Some people are obviously saying that it fixes it in the software update. And any Activision games, I get a lot of complaints too. But one thing I noticed is on this console, Activision games play as they do on normal systems. Like, I really don't notice any difference, even in the reading reliability of them. Like, I had a copy of Enduro. It was really finicky on a real console. And here, same thing, super finicky. Like, took many, many tries, many, many cleanings to work. But eventually I did get it to work. and games that work every time on my normal system, they seem to work every time on here too. So I think it's just a matter of Activision games corroding just by existing. If you guys play Atari and you actually use the games, you'll know. You'll clean an Activision game, it'll work perfectly, you'll set it down, come back to it the next day, and it won't play at all, and you'll have to clean it again. It's something to do with the contacts. They're just not, they corrode. Just, I don't know what the deal is, but if you can explain that, let me know. I guess it was just because there was no dust flap, but the M Network games don't have this issue, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, what do I think of the console? I think it's pretty useless if you're trying to actually score really well in the games, and especially if you own an original console. There's really no reason to own this besides the fact if you want to have this in your living room and play your Atari games on your big TV. And that's another thing to consider too, is an original Atari would have tons of lag and would look terrible on a modern display. But this is not going to replace an original console on a CRT. It's just not. It's not even close. And basically every paddle game is going to be unplayable just because it feels so unnatural when you're moving the paddle. Like if you're on a CRT, it feels super responsive, and it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it, but it's really one-to-one movement when you're using the paddles on a CRT and on a real console. On this, you can feel the delay every move you make, and it's not possible to move quickly in these games or react fast when there's literally, on the paddles, I feel like it's literally seconds of input lag. And I've tried different TVs, I've tried all kinds of different things. I was using a gaming computer monitor, and nothing really seemed to help. So, yeah, what do I think of it? I would personally buy an original system, which I do sell. Shameless plug. Games Electronics R Us on eBay. If you want a real console that will play every single game and will have zero lag, and yeah, basically a fully working console, you can buy them from me at any point. I always have them for sale. The 7800 Plus, in my opinion, is not really worth it. It's more of a novelty, if anything, to me. And I'm glad I own it. I think it's a cool thing to have as an Atari collector. But if you're really trying to play these games, I would personally pass. I would buy either a 7800 or a 2600 original console. Just, as I said, because of the lag. A lot of this gameplay footage is going to be from Dark Cavern, because I recorded a bunch of footage from a bunch of different games. I was going to show examples, but my freaking capture card didn't work, so you're just seeing Dark Cavern pretty much, and maybe Cosmic Arc, I'm not sure yet, but yeah, basically, I don't like it, but one thing I will say is that it has increased my game sales a lot. A lot of people do own this console, and a lot of people do like it and are buying games for it, and that's awesome. If you like the system, don't let me deter you. It is convenient, I won't lie. But for me and anyone who's going for a high score, we want the original console. So yeah, that's basically the video. I know it was super quick, but I just wanted to have a discussion about it and what I think about it. If I had to rate it out of 10 stars, I would rate it probably a 5 out of 10. I mean, it does work with a lot more things now, and I appreciate that they're adding compatibility, but the lag is just, it's too big for these kind of games. Even simpler games like Space Invaders are really hard to play. I tried them the other day, and it was just, it did not feel good. At least, maybe I'm just saying this because I'm used to the original system, but I don't know. I think there's too much lag. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and yeah, happy gaming. Bye.